In this lesson, we are going to set a camera so that we're going to frame our scene. And we're supposed to be having something like this in our scene, but I think I just want the focus to be only on the scene we've created. I don't want anything around this. I'm not going to be adding any extra model and so on. Okay, so what we are going to do now first is to go to create and we'll go to camera and we're going to create camera. Now from here in the attribute editor, we can just rename this to main underscore camera. Hit on enter. Now we'll go to this part here, go to panel, perspective, and look through. Let's go to, I need this to look through the main camera. So first we're going to turn on the resolution gate of the camera we just created, and we're going to come down here, select this and select this. Now you can see the current camera size, which is 960 by 540. That is not what we want. So what we need to do now is to play around with the render settings so that we get a better camera. So we'll go up here to Arnold and we'll go to no, we just come down to this part here with this icon and click on it to open the Arnold render settings. So under the common tab, depending on what you want to export, I'm going to export as PNG. And we're going to come down here, renderable camera. We're going to click on it and select that to rename this to main camera from the attribute editor. So let's go to the outliner and let's see. So it is currently set to as camera 1. So we're going to double click from here on the outliner and we're going to name this to main camera and hit on enter. So from here now, renderable camera, we're going to click on that and set it to main camera. And we're going to come down to the preset, which is the image size. From here in the image size, we're going to click on this and set this to let's scroll down to where we have HD 1920 by 1080. But if you want to go higher, you can just input that size here. And for the resolution, I'm going to set this all the way up to 600. Keep in mind that it's going to be based on your system side. I'm not going to make something as large as this if my system can't handle it. All right, so when to come to the renderer, all these we have the camera. I really don't know how I'm going to explain this, but all this is going to affect the output quality of your image. But for now, let's keep that and let's close it. Okay, now we have these settings. So what I'm going to do, let me close up my attribute editor. So for first of all, I'll go to the focal length. I'm just going to set this to 50. There, now I'll go to, let's go into perspective mode. I'll go to panel here, go to perspective, and I will go to main camera, which is this camera here. And I'm going to turn on this resolution gate. I'm going to turn all this on. Now, what I'm going to do is to go to panel and select this, tear off a copy. And this is going to open another window with our camera. Now from here, I'm going to, inside of this viewport here, I will go to panel, go to perspective and set this to perspective camera. So now anything I do here won't affect anything I do here. So from here, I can just set my scene the way I want to render it or how I want to capture the view. I can also go to renderer and turn this to Arnold renderer. So this is how your scene is going to look like when you are done rendering. Okay, so I don't think I like this. So let me zoom in a bit. So this is looking good. Now you can also do anything here and it's not going to affect here because these two are two different windows. This is your main camera view and this is just your normal viewport in Maya, which you can work with. So this is the settings I have. Now, this is what we are actually going to render finally. So let's quickly preview our render. So to preview our render, we can go over to Anode and we can hit on Open Anode Render View. So from here, we're going to select the main camera, which is this one, and we're just going to hit on Play from there, and we're going to save. Now, it is going to render this based on what we have here. Now it is okay, but this is zoomed in completely. That is why we have something crazy here. So we're going to zoom this out. That is way too small. So let's zoom this in, and I think we can rotate this a bit. And yeah, we can, maybe we can just take this out just like that. Okay, so this is what we have, but this isn't looking good. So we'll go over to our render settings from here, and this we're going to set this to 4, set this to 3, and set this to 3. Now this SSS, I really can't explain all these things in depth because it's really going to be a little bit confusing. This is not all about rendering, so we're just going to pick up all these settings and we're going to make use of them just like that. But I'm definitely going to leave a link to a video where you are going to watch that talks about anode rendering so that you can really understand everything completely. So I'm just going to work with these 3. So I'll come down to this part here, stop this, and I'm going to play that again, and we should also get something better, but this time it's going to take a little bit of time, but we are going to get something more nice. Now this black background, I really don't think I love this black background, so let's quickly pull up reference from Pinterest and let's see. Let's go to isometric room. So we have most of them on a background. We have most of them on the background, so we're just going to quickly add a background in ours. So that is what we are going to do now. So I'm going to stop this, and I'm going to close it and close this. So from here now we're going to, I'm just going to turn off all this because we don't need that, and we're just going to push this one side here. From here, I'm going to shift right click and add a plane. I'm going to hit on R and I'm going to scale this up very well. We'll go into the edge mode, select all these edges here. Hit on W, I'm going to push it. I'm going to hit on Control E to extrude and just take it backward to pass the light. Hit on G, W, and I'm going to drag this up just like that. But now it is not covering everything in our scene, so no worries about that. So we're just going to drag this up. We're going to come down. We'll go into the object mode, select it, hit on R, and we're going to scale this up so that it covers our scene completely. And I'm going to scale along the Z axis, hit on W, and just bring this forward. So keep in mind, I am looking at this one here just to make sure everything is covered completely. And now I'm just go another way to apply material in Maya. You can just right click on the object, go to assign new material. But if you have existing material, you can come down to this part here, assign existing material, and you're going to see all the materials we have assigned to all the object in our scene previously. But we need something different here, so we'll go to assign new material, anode, and we're going to look for the AI standard surface. But if you can't find it here, which I can't find, I don't know if it's here, but I can see it, then you can go to just new material from here, and it is going to open this assign new material panel for you. And now we can come down to Arnold shader, and we're going to get the AI standard surface from here. Click on that, and we're going to assign a material there. Now we can come down to, we can just, if you can't see the material on that particular plane, you can click here to check, and we're going to see here AI standard surface. But if you can't, you can just select the object, or you can just right click on the object and go to material attributes, and it is going to open up the material attribute for you here. So now we're going to click here, and let's pick this color, and we're going to make it a little bit darker, just like this. So from here now we can turn on the Arnold renderer, so we can see what is going on. If it's okay, we can work with that, but I don't like this reflection here, and that shouldn't be going back. So it's just like a bouncing light that is bouncing on the window, and it is going back there, and I actually don't like that. So but I'm going to leave it that way. So let's see, let's go to roughness, and the roughness is going to take away the light. So yeah, let's take away the roughness from there. And methane, I don't want that to be anything like meta or so on. So it doesn't really matter. So I'm gonna leave that. So I'll go back to the color and make it a little bit brighter. Let's see. So I think maybe let's make this a little bit lighter, not that dark. I think something like this should be fine. Let's see this. Now let's quickly look at the reference here, and let's see how they are being placed. You can also render this, take it into Photoshop, and do some extra things there. So for the camera, we're going to, let's turn off the rendering. So let's bring this down like this. So let's zoom out a bit, and let's set this way. So for this color, I think I don't like this color, so let's go back with this, and let's make this little bit light, or we can go with white and make this a bit darker, something like this, and just add a little bit of color. And now we can go to renderer, Arnold, and let's see what we can get. And I think this is okay. So for the roughness, let's take the roughness up, and this is a bit fine, but I think we need to have, let's see, roughness, all right, so let's take the roughness up. So this light is just going to reflect here, but our scene is a bit zoomed out. You can, if you want to post this on social media, you can go for the square. You can go for square, or you can also resize this later on if you wish to. So I think this is fine. This is what I'm going to end up with this is what I'm going to render finally. But I think maybe we should make this a bit square if you want to put this. Well, you get the idea of how you can change this. Oh, if you want to render this and make this square, you can go ahead, render it and make it square. It all really depends on you. Otherwise, you can just render it with this. You can just go to here, which is the render settings, go back to the common, scroll all the way down to this part that says presets. You can see it is currently set to custom because we choose something different. So you can say 4K square or so on. So we can say 4K square, and you can see what we have here. You can just do this the way you want it. But I think I'm going to render this out in two ways, which is the square and the 1080, which is this one, and resolution I'm going to set it to 600, and I'm just going to close that. And that is it for now, and we're going to render. To do the final rendering, if we're not going to be doing the rendering here, we can just go to, let's just go to renderer here and set this to viewport. We can go to Arnold, or we can just go to renderer from here, and we'll go to camera main, and you can, okay, this is cutting out a little bit. I don't want this to cut, so I will go back to this camera and take this out. Just like this. All right, and now we can just allow the rendering to go on, and once it's done, you can go to File, Save Image, and you can give it a name. So this is, it's going to save in any file format. Just give it a name, but what you've said is what it's going to save as. So once I'm done rendering, I'm going to see you guys in the next lesson. This is the final render, and everything is done. You can see how it is looking here and how it is looking here. Everything is so amazing. Now to save this, you just want to go over to File, Save Image As. Now when you open this window, I already have 2 files saved here. So I'm going to delete both of them so that they're no longer there. Okay, now you have different ways of saving this. So if you want to save this to JPEG, you're just going to hit on Final dot JPG and hit on Save, and you're going to have a JPEG file. If you want to save as PNG, just go to Save Image, Final, erase the JPG and put PNG, hit on Save. You're going to get that, and you can also go to File, Save Image, and now you can say final.jpg, final.png, and now you can just say final.tif and hit on Save, and you're also going to get a TIF file, depending, but they are going to be different. So now this is the TIF file. You need to take this into Photoshop to do some processing and so on. And you can see the size here is 14.9 megabytes. If we go to the JPEG, this is the JPEG version, you can see with full colors, and it is low in size. And you can go to the PNG, you can see in full colors, and it is also low in size. So it really depends on what file format you want to save it as and what you actually want to do with it. And I also have, you just have 35, so it really depends on you. So after this, you can just proceed with any other thing, take this into Photoshop and do whatever it is you want to do. So you can just open up Photoshop. I have Photoshop beta, but I'm going to make use of Photoshop 2025 normally. So once you open Photoshop, you can import the TIFF file and do whatever it is you want to do from there, like doing normal color grading. When you open up the TIFF file, you can see we have everything, but you just like in log, everything it's faded. So it really depends on what you want to do. So if you want to use this for composition or compositing, you have a lot of room to play around with what you have here. You can even take this into camera raw filter, depending on you. Really just do what you want and just do what you want. Okay, Photoshop open in another screen. I'm just going to drag the TIFF file inside and drop it in Photoshop. Once it pops up in Photoshop, I'm going to bring my Photoshop back into this screen. Okay, so now here is the Photoshop. You can have my graphics acceleration. It's currently not turned on because of just something, so I'm just gonna leave it that way. Now you can just go to File and just say let's add a brightness and contrast. You can go to this part and create a brightness and contrast, add more contrast to it. You can go to hue, vibrance, and you just go to vibrance. Where is it? We have that here. Vibrance is grayed out. I don't know why. You can also go to hue and saturation, and you can increase the saturation, do anything you want to do with the composition, make it pop. You just have a lot of room to play around with what you have, as long as you have that TIFF file, because it's look mainly like a log file. So that is what you just have to do. So play around with your final output and do whatever it is you want to do. You want to go ahead and post it, you go ahead and post it. It really depends on you. So that is it. And now you have learned everything. Not everything. You've learned the most basic steps to create any model in Maya. I know there are some technical modeling technique. Is that correct? There are some technical modeling technique. I don't know if that's not correct. There are some technique to model some complex models or advanced models in Maya. But since you already know the basics of how to model in Maya, it's not going to take you anything to just adapt to all those other modeling technique that can help you create advanced models in Maya. And aside from that, you can also make use of different rendering in Maya. We have Redshift, we have V-Ray, and I guess there are other ones, but the most popular for Maya is V-Ray and Anode. But most people make use of Redshift as well. So you can also explore all those renderer and just sit. Now you have Maya, you have the knowledge of Maya. It's just like you having a tool in your bag. So the question is, what are you going to do with that tool? This is the question you are going to ask yourself. If you want to use it to do good, go ahead and use it to do good. If you want to use it to do bad, go ahead and use it to do bad. It all really depends on you. So, but you get the idea of what I'm trying to say. You're not just going to learn this and just keep it one side. And so you have to do something with this. So thank you guys for staying to the end of this lesson. And if you have made it to this part of the lesson, it's really amazing having you guys around and following me step by step with all this whole process. And there's a lot of tutorials that are going to be coming out. Some are going to be more advanced, some are going to be basics, but it's never going to be something like this. I'm not going to touch something for absolutely beginners again. So that is all for this tutorial or for this course, and I hope you guys learned a lot, and I'm going to love to see all what you guys create from this. You're going to get a Discord link which you can use to join the Discord community and upload your own creation. Stay tuned and make sure that you stay creative.